How are we doing? This video is going to be a bit different. Around 7 months ago, I exited a dropshipping company that I'd been building for over 3 years. One store built into a brand which I exited. I made key hires and it was an extreme journey from me going from, I would say, an immature boy to growing up personally, mentally, in the business sense. And this business progressed in a sense to which I was able to sell it. And not many people on YouTube, when they're talking about dropshipping, have actually exited a store. And this is the thing I like to talk about, is you can use dropshipping to build a company, and I've proved this. So this is going to be a recap of my story, and the value inside it is probably worth the watch, because this was a 3-year period where I met key people, learned key things, which took me to the level of scaling to $400,000 months, over $3.4 million in sales, and then making sure the company was structured in a way to which it was sellable, because I was barely working myself, making $400,000 months, barely putting any time in. So I structured the company with opportunity so a buyer would want to buy it, and I achieved it. So this is going to be raw, barely going to edit. I've made like a presentation documentary. I want to go through it with you, and I've put key moments, and hopefully it'll be interesting and you can get a lot out of it. So I'm going to switch now to the presentation and let's get into the story. So this is a brief recap of my story. So when I was 18, I actually went to university, not like these gurus online saying, fuck university, fuck college, make money, be an entrepreneur. Nah, I didn't know what to do. I was confused. I was either going to go traveling or go to university. But I made the decision because I sort of failed high school a bit. Like, I got to go to university because I had to do an access course, which wasn't even proper university. I had to do like a pre-university at university to get into uni. When I arrived at university, I always knew I wanted to make money with a business. I never really wanted to get a job. I always knew that. But I had zero idea how to do that. I just knew I'm going to make money, I'm going to have loads of cash, and I'm going to be an entrepreneur, but I'll go to uni anyway. Because that's what my family did. Everyone in my family went to university, and I did engineering, which is a good degree anyway. When first year, freshers, whatever you call it, you have so much free time. I literally had to turn up to university like a few hours a week. It was ridiculous, honestly. And obviously you have to pay so much. Bit of a scam, but I don't regret it. So with the amount of free time I had, I used this free time to sort of like figure out, all right, how am I going to make money now? Because I haven't got a job. And then I stumbled across e-commerce because my brother was like, oh, I've started like a jewelry business, built a website, etc. I was like, oh, that's so cool. Like, I want to do that myself. And I was into skating, like partying, raving. I was like, okay, I'm going to build an e-commerce brand based on my passion selling jewelry as well. So that was like the idea behind how I got started, and then we progressed. I created a jewelry brand in the first year of uni. This is all my own content, these are all my own designs, everything is custom, everything is branded, and I think the content's pretty cool. We did like a Playboy inspired ring that sold pretty well. All of this stuff is sick. I was super happy with this store, with the branding. But yeah, I created an e-commerce brand. I didn't know what dropshipping was. I didn't know what Shopify was. Built this on Wix to start off with, which is like another e-commerce website builder. Yeah, I wasn't watching courses. I wasn't watching gurus like make your first 10 grand online in a month. I literally just wanted to make money online, and I just Googled. I asked questions, right, how do I build a website? How do I get custom jewelry? Alibaba came out, and I just used common sense to do this. Like, I don't think it's that hard. And I incorporated my passions, like I said, skating and raving. So I saw a brand called Supreme, which is like a skateboarding brand, fashion. And I wanted to be like the new Supreme of jewelry, do like cool drops, etc. And I ended up doing this business for the 4 years whilst I was at uni. So here's some of like the ads and the video content we did. Over the 4 years, I got really good at making photo content, video content, and everything was really branded and custom. Like, it presented an emotion. It presented to a market of like skaters, that streetwear fashion. I was good at building content to brand products, which is what fashion is really. You got to build like an emotional image of what is the type of person to sell these products. And I managed to do like £200,000 over the 4 years. Obviously I was young, I was still going out partying, I didn't really understand business. I pretty much spent all the profit, so probably break even at the end of it, not really making any money. I was sort of just living off it. But I'd spent 4 years pretty much learning e-commerce at university. So the second year of university, I failed. I had way too much going on. So why did I fail? I was young and confused which path to take. Do I carry on university or do I go full commitment at the jewellery brand? Which wasn't really making money, but was making a bit, let's say $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month. Drinking and partying, chasing girls and breakups, just all the lot when you're young. And I failed university. I pretty much failed 80% of the second year. So the final year of university, I had to take 2 years in one. But the university actually presented to me, I would have to stay behind another year. That would have mean I would have been at university for 5 years. But I had to meet them and be like, look, I'm not staying for university for 5 years, otherwise I'll leave. Can I do 2 years in one? And they accepted that. That means I had a shit ton of work to do, like a mad amount of work. So I was doing engineering, it's not an easy degree. So what was my routine at the time? I was shipping jewellery orders in the morning and doing the jewellery business in the morning, doing university work in the day, all day pretty much, and then working at Domino's every evening to fund the jewellery business and to fund going out and living. So it was a pretty hectic lifestyle. 4 hours a day Domino's in the evening, like a few hours a day packing orders and doing university work in the day. And then in the final year, luckily my dad actually helped me and I shipped all the stock to him because he retired at the time, and he helped me ship orders and took on a big responsibility for operations, which was a massive help so I could focus on university, and that really helped. So in the end, I finally finished university, and what did I come out with? I came out with a degree, 2-1, which is like good, average good, a small jewellery brand, but most importantly, I had 4 years of playing around with e-commerce knowledge. So I basically spent 4 years learning how to build e-commerce brands. Obviously it was at such small scale, but that didn't matter. I'd learned Facebook ads, I'd learned custom content, branding, fulfillment, all the basics. Facebook ads especially, that was something like really important that I learned. And yeah, these are just some pictures of finishing uni, celebrating here. Oh, we'll go back. Yeah, drinking some kava. This is me drinking beers. These are actually my rings that I made. But yeah, I was proud of it, I loved it, and I'm glad I finished university because I was really considering dropping out, but I'm happy I finished. Not what most people would say. For me, I don't regret it. This is how it started, the business that I exited and built over 3 years. So what was the situation when I finished university? £0. I was living out of overdrafts. So I actually took out like 2 student overdrafts, which is not what you're meant to do, and I had about minus £4,000 in debt, constantly moving. So I was never in the green, I was always under £0. I moved into my friend's spare bedroom for free because my tenancy ended up and I didn't want to move home. I thought moving home was like a bad thing to do. If you move home after university, you're a failure, and then you just stay in your hometown forever. That was my opinion on it. So I was like, right, I'm gonna stay in the student city that I was in, and I'm gonna move into my friend's place for free, which I'm glad they did. So they all worked 9 to 5 jobs, which was interesting. I forced myself to quit the Domino's job because that was another thing. I didn't want to finish university and be that guy working at Domino's because again, it means I failed. Like if I finished university with an engineering degree and I'm working at Domino's, like what's the point? I had another opportunity to get a job offer at Papa John's. Yeah, I quit my Domino's job and I was like, right, when I'm living at these guys' house, they're going out every day to work. I'm home alone. And I was like, right, I need to make money and I'm gonna do anything to do that. And then my friend was like, right, you know, you can do drop shipping. All you have to do is you put a plugin called Oberlo, which is like the old one. And the jewelry brand wasn't making me enough money to live. So I had to put it on pause and I needed money to start, like scale it up. It wasn't making me money. So I was like, right, how can I make money? And the option that came up that my friend suggested was drop shipping. And I'd learned Facebook ad, I'd learned custom content, I'd learned everything about e-commerce. I was like, why can't I do drop shipping? All you have to do is just don't buy stock. So in the process of like researching products, etc., I got another job offer at Papa John's and I went to an introduction at like a butcher job. It was honestly terrible. I went there and the first thing they said was, all right, who can speak English here? In like the introduction, there was like 10 people there and I was like, right, this job is not for me. If that's the bare minimum you need to do to have this job is to speak English, like I should not be here. So I literally walked out in the introduction, I'm not even joking. When there, I walked out and I'm like, no way I'm working. This is not an option. I'm not getting this Papa John's job. I'm quitting Domino's and I'm not getting a job. This is not working. So I made up myself determined to make this dropshipping work. I was scrolling the feed, Instagram, just casually in the day, and I stumbled across a store. These advertisements on Instagram just kept popping up, man. And I was like, right, I've been running Facebook ads. I understand if people are spending money on ads and they keep coming up, it means they're making money. Like you're not spending money on ads without making money. So I went on their website, looked at it, and it was terrible. They were selling AliExpress products with zero branding. At like, their branding and marketing angle was like, get this super cheap, value price. And their website was bad, their content was terrible. So I was like, right, what have I learned for these 4 years? How to make sick content, how to make good websites, and how to brand. So I took this AliExpress store, dropshipping store, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna turn this into a luxury brand. I'm gonna make sick content, and I'm gonna make this, sell it at higher prices at a luxury offer. Do you want these luxury items because they look sick? And I could do that because I could make good videos and good photos and brand it well with custom content. And that's exactly what I did. And this was me building the store. Obviously, this is me at my friend's house. This is me at my friend's house as well. And this is me building my first store. So the results after launching this store. So I took something that was working and made it different with the skills that I had learned. Month one, we did £5,000 in sales, which was already the same as what we were doing on the old jewelry brand instantly. Again, I couldn't scale the jewelry brand because I had to buy stock and I had no money. So it was just a stop and start process. Month two, £14,000. So I was already making like £3,000 profit a month. I was already making a full-time salary by month two, which was absolutely insane. So the point of not getting a job and making the commitment to get this starting, it worked straight away. But because I'd been preparing for 4 years for this moment. So at this point, I was making enough money so I could get my own apartment. Obviously I shared with friends, but I could get my own room in an apartment, and I was already living it up. I didn't have a job and I was making a salary. Perfect, this was the house. So at this point, I was still living in the city I went to university at. All my friends were still working 9 to 5 or still students. And I was just drop shipping when everyone was out. I was working at home. I continued working, but my progress was capped. Honestly, I was working like 30 minutes a day, just slouching around, pretty depressed to be honest, like didn't really feel like I was doing anything. And these were like the results I was getting. Obviously they increased. My best month was £30,000. So let's say I made around £5,000 to £8,000 profit, maybe £5,000 to £10,000 profit in a month. I was making good money, but I wasn't doing anything, working 30 minutes a day, literally, maybe going out sometimes in the same city. Nothing was new, nothing was progressing me. Everyone was working jobs, no one was doing e-commerce. So my environment capped my progress. So I made the decision to move back in with my parents, and I got my first office because in the previous place, in the same city, I'd been there for 5 years, same people, same friends, which obviously I love. No one to push me, no one else was doing e-commerce, no one else was doing entrepreneurship. It wasn't where I was meant to be. So I ended up being depressed, not working, not doing what I wanted to do, and I wasn't pushing myself. Then I made the decision, right, I'm gonna go home, even though before that was not what I wanted to do. I thought that was a bad move, but it actually ended up being the best thing I ever did. I went home and my other friend, Josh, who I hadn't spoken to in years, he also moved back as well. He actually quit uni. So same sort of thing, but he quit uni, didn't see it through. I saw it through. So the same thing, but he took the other option. I spoke to him, I was like, yo bro, like I'm back. Do you wanna get an office together? It was the only person I knew that did business. He had a clothing brand and was selling secondhand vintage on Depop and stuff, but making money. And he had his own clothes in a vintage store in Leeds. But we were making about the same amount of money. And I was like, let's get an office. And he was like, yeah, let's do it, bro. That'll be sick. And this was the office we got. So this was in COVID times, and the office cost us £700 between us, so £350 each per month. Perfect, absolutely perfect. It was in our friend's back garden. They built like this shed, which is obviously like a sick man cave, and basically let us rent it out. Absolutely insane. It was just down the road from both of us from our home. And me and him, Josh, spent pretty much 6 months straight in this place, barely saw anyone else, straight grinding, me and him. Honestly in there from 8 AM to like 8 PM every day, 7 days a week, just straight working throughout the time that virus was there. And it was one of the best times of my life for me personally. And the 6 months of isolation with him, another entrepreneur, pushed me to a level that I never thought I'd get to. But yeah, we were working 10, 12 hours a day. This was us in like probably like 12 o'clock at night, just still making content, still working. He was selling clothes, it was sick. This is us getting product photos. As you can see, it turned into a little hub, and a couple of our other friends started doing their own stuff, and it really was an environment to progress and make money, and really a turning point in my life. This is Josh, they did like a clothing drop. So every Friday, if they would do a clothing drop, we'd go have some beers and just watch them make money. Absolutely sick. And this was an insane time in my life, and I'm super grateful for it, and it was definitely the right thing to do. So what happened next? The results of being in this environment. So £200,000 in sales, £113,000 in sales. I was making so much more money. So I was pretty much at like an average of like £10,000 to £15,000 profit per month at this point, of 6 months of really focusing. Obviously you can scale a lot faster, I understand this now, but at this point in my life, this is exactly what I needed. And it got me to a point where I was making good money at a sustainable level, and things were just going well, and my knowledge was just going up and up and up. This was the right decision. Going home, focusing for 6 months. You could call this monk mode, but surrounded with entrepreneurs. So there's a key lesson in there. Sometimes you need to get grounded, go back to your roots, and really just put in the work and join people who are doing the same thing. And that's what propelled me to an insane level. My results were capped. Yes, this was the most perfect thing I could have had. But again, I needed to expand my knowledge further. So what was the best thing to do for that? So I decided to move to Bali. I wanted to level up, network, and travel. I always wanted to travel, and I thought, from what I've seen on social media, Bali would be a good place for that. So it was still COVID. It was probably one of the best times to go. It wasn't busy. There was like groups of people coming in. So there was like a group of, we'll call like English people that all went in at the same time that we met. And we're all still friends mostly today, which is super cool. But yeah, my visa got accepted. I was pretty nervous. I was like, right, if I'm gonna go, I'm gonna sell everything and just go in a suitcase, just me in a suitcase, and see what happens. My friend who was living in Australia at the time, we were best friends in childhood, he was like, also, I'll come to Bali. So it was me and my friend. He was coming from Australia, I was coming to England. I hadn't seen him in 5 years, but we were still best mates, and we're like, fuck it, let's do this. So I sold my car for 1.4K, literally sold it within 3 weeks, and I went. And I had to quarantine in Jakarta because obviously the situation, for 5 days. I sat in a hotel for 5 days in Jakarta, which was absolutely insane, but this was the hotel I was in. Yeah, fully achieved my goals, managing my company from the other side of the world. Couldn't be happier, bro. So at this point, I was like 21, 22, and I couldn't believe I was printing cash, traveling the world, and I was living these dreams that I always wanted. I always knew I'd be doing this, but I didn't know how it would happen, but it happened because I put in the work. So what happened in Bali? Let's have a look. So, as you can see, it was absolutely insane. I learned boxing, met loads of people, all coming from England. There was a massive group of us, everyone coming at the same time. It was insane. Yeah, leveled up my knowledge. Everyone who was coming to Bali was doing e-commerce. Everyone was an entrepreneur in some sort of way, agency owner, dropshipping, anything you think of online. We met them, we spoke about it, everyone exchanging knowledge, and I progressed as a person to an insane amount. And it was one of the best decisions, again, that I'd made, and it was sick. So I personally progressed, and just things were moving and things were getting better. The more I worked on myself, the more money I was making, and vice versa. So it got to the point I'd been in Bali for 2 years, 3 years now, and the store was going so well that I was able to become a non-resident of the UK, because I was actually making enough to which it was worth basically not paying tax in the UK, income tax anyway. So I registered as a non-resident, which you can do if you live out of the country for more than 90 days. And yeah, because I'd been traveling and living in Bali for pretty much 2 to 3 years, this was worth it. So I increased my income, reduced my tax, and things just became insane and insane and insane.
Let's go.
So for the past year, 2 years, I've been living between UK, Dubai and Bali, and traveling business class, everything you could ever dream of, living the life that anyone could dream of, and literally just one suitcase, traveling, living, making money, expanding, growing. And Dubai especially is so good for networking, man. The level of knowledge and people you meet is absolutely insane, and numbers that you can even dream of become normal. So traveling, networking and meeting people in the game was so beneficial that it got me to insane heights, and the results, again, were next to none. The result, 2021, I did my first £134,000 month. Last year, I did 1.2 million in sales. My biggest month was $400,000, that equates to, so £328,000, around $400,000 at the time. And I was doing £150,000 a month in the last months of the business, which are around $200,000, around $50,000 profit per month as I was selling the business. And this was the total year's result, so £2.8 million. So you can see over the 3 years, I had steady growth, not like a normal dropshipping store. So a normal dropshipping store would be up and down, done. This was steady growth, steady growth, steady growth, Black Friday, steady growth, steady growth, steady growth, Black Friday. So if I had done this another year again, I probably would have done like $600,000, maybe $800,000 in revenue, and it would have keep going up and up and up. So this business was built with year-on-year growth. There's a dip here because that's when we sold the company in the transition period. So it should be like going from here. So you can see the company was on a steady growth projection. Just what you want if you're selling a business. So at this point, I'd learned so much about e-commerce. I had a full team. Everything was running automated. The only thing I was doing in the company, I'd hired myself into a position where I was basically the creative strategist. That was my only job in the company, is to plan the content, do ad research, and basically create new ads. The Facebook ads were managed, Google ads were managed, Pinterest ads were managed, operations were managed, customer support was managed, everything was managed. Like even the team meetings, I would turn up as an employee. I even had someone to manage the team meetings. I'd be like, hey, this is what we're doing for content, see you later. Sometimes I wouldn't even need to turn up. The company was so automated in a position for massive explosion of growth. The results even show it. Again, this dip was when we sold the company, the transition period. So ads dropped, obviously we scaled down a bit, but the projection was insane. We even had a financial manager, financial developer, advisor, sorry. The year before we were selling it, we did our projections of how much we'd do, and we beat them pretty much. But yeah, this £328,000 month, we did like £125,000 in profit, 1 month, 6-figure profit month. So again, the goal of this store was to make enough money and to build it and sell it, to which I could do my own things, and that's exactly what I did. So I sold my company for a big cash amount, and here's the bill of sale. Obviously I've blurred it out, but yeah, basically we had lawyers involved, we had brokers involved, and we found a buyer for the company and we exited it. Took over a 2 month period, and then we had a 1 month period of training and basically helping them to onboard everything, etc. And they're still, I assume, running the company to this date. And we exited the company. To get a cash transfer into your bank of a large amount is absolutely insane, and it was life-changing for sure. And yeah, that is the story. So what were the key pillars to achieve this? Let's get into it. Again, you need to listen to this because it's super valuable. So the main thing I learned is content is king. Content is the #1 driver for sales, branding, everything with social media marketing or e-commerce in general. So how you create your content, how you run your ads, how much content you produce is generally how much you can do sales. The only way you can scale is via product and creative. Those are the two ways to scale. And distribution. And obviously one of the best ways for distribution is paid ads. Obviously organic's good, but it's very time intensive. We're talking about paid ads here. Creatives and content is king. So this was like the creative feedback tie loop. So basically in short, I would create a batch of creatives, and every time we'd find winning creatives, I would optimize the winning creatives and turn off the ones that weren't performing, and so on. So it was a constant loop of creating a brand new batch of creators that hadn't been tested and putting them through so many iterations where this content would get to a point where it was so profitable. So we would have ads running all the time that were the same because they were proven and they were so good. So we had like a base content of ads, and every so often, every 2 months, we'd do like another 100 creatives. Test. We were constantly testing creatives and constantly testing new products within the niche. So what was the other key pillar? Facebook ads. Facebook ads for this brand was the key driver. So it was Facebook, Google, then Pinterest. We tested TikTok, but these products were high ticket and TikTok just really didn't work. So what we learned with Facebook ads by the end of it, so Facebook ads were ever changing, even with the iOS 14 situation where Facebook ads sort of went bad, we got through it. But by the end of it, this was the structure. So simple accounts, testing campaign, and then ad plus scaling campaign. And this managed to, when we hired a media buyer, they basically implemented these changes and took our store, because I was running it like £100,000 a month when I was running the ads, and then I hired someone, they showed me like the new way to do it, and we got to $400,000 a month. And that is how we improved. One of the things was hiring people who knew more information than me, and they could teach me and take over things that I didn't know. So I really like let go of control. So this was what I'm talking about, so back-end systems. The reason this scaled so much is because I built out the company and hired where important. So everything was hired. We had a marketing manager, creative strategist, which was me. We had media buyer, social media manager, email guy, SMS guy, VAs, product management and developer, store operations manager, store manager here, store manager there, store manager. But we hired everything that I couldn't do. And the people we hired were better at the specific role than I was. So I sort of knew a little bit of everything, but I hired people that were better than me that could teach me so we can improve the company. And that's when we saw real growth, when the company was hired and there were people in the positions that knew what to do better than me. And I learned this from meeting other people, traveling, networking, etc. So networking and location. Why was this so important? Just like I said, is every time I met someone who was doing better than me, like I was meeting people doing $1 million months, $2 million months, making serious cash with e-commerce. Every time I met them, I'd be like, I have these problems, how do I scale? And they would tell me the solution and it would work instantly. So the cost of not knowing the knowledge was losing me money every month. And every time I'd meet these people and scale further, I could get even further, I know I could, but obviously we sold it. That knowledge was so important, and I wouldn't have got it if I stayed in the original city as a student, living with students. I had to go home, work on the business, and then I had to go and travel and network. And that was the process of me scaling this company. So what am I doing now? So I've started building, hopefully, an 8-figure brand. I've started documenting that on YouTube, and it's a fashion brand, and hopefully we can scale it, man. I'm super excited for it. So I'm putting some of the money of the company I sold into the 8-figure brand. Hopefully we're building, I'm documenting the whole thing. And yeah, it's gonna be building it for at least 5 years. So hopefully we can do it again, and I'll obviously reveal it at some point. But yeah, the full documentary is on YouTube, and I would highly advise following it, because yeah, where else can you watch someone build a brand from scratch that had done it before? So can I do it again? Let's see. Mate, my spelling's so bad on these presentations, building our product, yeah. So the next thing I'm doing next is what I was focusing on. Obviously, I've got the credentials. I was like, right, let's start YouTube. So YouTube's obviously something I'm doing now. And I sort of started that when I was selling the business. So I started YouTube, and I was like, right, I might as well build a private network, because I'm in a position where I can help people start, scale, or exit a dropshipping store, which is super valuable. Obviously, you get a lot of gurus online, but like, how many gurus have actually scaled a business to $400,000 a month and then exited it? Not many. So I have the credentials to build a private network and one-to-one mentoring, because people ask for it. So this is what I'm doing now, etc. So let's get into the details of the private network and one-to-one mentoring, because if you're watching this, I probably could help you if you're in the position or in a similar position I was 3 years ago, because I could essentially exaggerate that process and get you there quicker. So our private network and one-to-one mentoring. Who is it for? So It's basically for anyone starting at zero with funds, or people who have a store who are doing numbers but could make it way further. So if you're doing less than $400,000 a month, I can help you. Or if you're looking to exit a dropshipping store that has been doing like $100,000 a month, $200,000 a month, and you need to figure out how to exit it, get the broker details, get the company structure set up, get the hires sorted, scale it to a position where it's exitable, we can help you as well. So beginners to advanced, we can help. And we've got an insane amount of testimonials, which I'll show you in a bit. What is it built on? So this whole private network and one-to-one mentoring is basically built on my whole journey. So what did I learn over those 3 years? And the things that I learned over those 3 years is actionable feedback. You need to be surrounded by people who know more than you. So I basically built the private network. So there's me and 4 other e-com entrepreneurs that help you with actionable feedback. So let's say you come in as a beginner and you're like, right, I want to do product research. We'll help you do product research and go through your products with you and tell you what is right and wrong. And we're giving you that knowledge straight away, which you didn't know. So it will speed up your process. How I learned, I would speak to someone who was doing better than me and they would give me that knowledge and I would increase my sales. So the same concept. Or if you had a store doing $10,000 a month and we're like, right, all you need to do is implement this, 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 and this, and you can get to $100,000 a month, which I literally just did with the previous video. And that's what this private network and mentoring is built on, actionable feedback. Like we've got courses in there as well, but like the best help you're gonna get is someone telling you what to do when they review your progress. So what's included? We've got 4 courses currently, this will increase. We have 2 live calls per week with our group and our mentors, and you have 6 one-to-one calls when you join. So you can book up to 6 one-to-one calls with me, Mark, or Charlie, and we can help you. So generally the first 2 weeks will be product research if you're a beginner, building the store, and then start launching and scaling it with ads. Or if you're scaling a store and you want to increase sales, we'll basically review your stuff and tell you and give you things to implement. Or if you want to exit, we'll review your store again, give the things to implement and get you hopefully selling the business. You have 24/7 support from 4, 6 to 7 figure e-com entrepreneurs. That's me and the team. They all have their own e-commerce brands, and you have a network community where you can meet like-minded people. We've got like 35 people in there at the moment and it's growing, getting loads of calls booked, which is super dope. So what are the results? So Jake here, this is his store as well. I literally just did a video on it. He came to me doing $9,000 a month and I scaled him to $100,000 a month within 3 months. Literally so easy, just implemented the stuff I already knew and it was done. This guy, Worky, he hit a $10,000 day within 12 days of joining our network. He actually used one of the products I told him to use and it worked. Yonifer, he got joined as well and it took him around 5 months, but now he's doing $33,000 a month with a fashion brand, which is absolutely insane. So yeah, $0 to $33,000 a month, which is insane. Jacob, $30,000 a month as well after joining from 0. And yeah, just absolutely smashing it. And this is Ellie, a girl who joined, again, took some fashion advice and we scaled her up to £6,000 per month. This is in such a short period of time of starting this network with so little people in. We've got 33 people in and these are results already. So it's absolutely insane because again, our help is actionable and you can get instant help with our team anyway. So how can you join? So we have a call booking link, which is $5 to book a call because we don't want time wasters. If you can't afford to spend $5, you're probably not fit to join. Obviously, if there's any problems, you can DM me on IG, so that contact is there below. But what I suggest, if you have no funds to start with a lower budget, you can just join our free Discord, and there's free stuff in there. But if you have funds and you want to take it seriously and join what I've just been showing you here, yeah, book a call and we can work together directly. So that's everything on our journey of scaling a store, dropshipping store, branding it and exiting it over 3 years. I hope it was interesting. Peace and love.